We interrupt this program for a special news bulletin. Just moments ago, John Lennon, one of the four members of the rock and roll group The Beatles, said he was misquoted in a magazine article dated February 1966 and released in London. The article claimed that Lennon had said that the Beatles were bigger than Jesus Christ. At a news interview today, Lennon had this to say.
Well, originally I was pointed out that fact in reference to England, that we meant more to kids than Jesus did, or religion at that time. I wasn't knocking it or putting it down, I was just saying it as a fact. And it is true, especially more for England than here. You know, but I'm not saying that we're better or greater or comparing us with Jesus Christ as a person or God as a thing or whatever it is. You know, I just said what I said and it was wrong or was taken wrong, and now it's all this.
Stay tuned for further details on this controversial statement by John Lennon. Dateline, August 12, 1966. We take you now to Chicago for a press conference being held by John Lennon and the Beatles.
Can we take the first question, please?
Mr. Lennon, we've been hearing a great deal of interpretations of your comment regarding Beatles vis-a-vis Jesus. Could you tell us what you really meant by that statement?
I'll try and tell you, I was sort of deploring the attitude. The thing, I wasn't saying whatever they were saying I was saying anyway. That's the main thing about it. And I was just talking to a reporter, but she also happened to be a friend of mine and the rest of us. At home, it was a sort of in-depth series she was doing. And so I wasn't really thinking in terms of PR or translating what I was saying. It was going on for a couple of hours, and I just said it as just to cover the subject, you know. And that's, and it really meant what, you know, I didn't mean it the way they said it. That's amazing. It's just so complicated. It's gone out of hand, you know. But I just meant it as that the Beatles, I wasn't saying the Beatles are better than Jesus or God or Christianity. I was using the name Beatles because I can use them easier. And I was using, you know, because I can talk about Beatles as a separate thing and use them as an example, especially to a close friend. But I could have said TV or cinema or anything else that's popular, or motor cars are bigger than Jesus. But I just said Beatles because, you know, that's the easiest one for me. I just never thought of repercussions. I never really thought of it. I wasn't even thinking, even though I knew she was interviewing me, that she was going to, you know, that it meant anything.
What's your reaction to the repercussions?
Well, when I first heard it, I thought it can't be true. It's just one of those things like bad eggs in Adelaide and things. And then when I realised it was serious, I was worried stiff. You know, because I knew sort of how it would go on. And the more the things that would get said about it, and all those miserable-looking pictures of me looking like a cynic, and they'd go on and on and on, and it'd get out of hand, and I couldn't control it. You know, I can't answer for it when it gets that big, because it's nothing to do with me then.
A disc jockey in Birmingham, Alabama, who really started most of the repercussions, has demanded an apology from you.
He can have it, you know. I apologise to him if he's upset. And he really means it. You know, I'm sorry I said it, really, for the mess it's made. But I never meant it as a lousy or anti-religious thing or anything. You know, and I can't say any more than that. There's nothing else to say, really. You know, no more words. But if an apology, if he wants one, you know, he can have it. I apologise to him.
Yes. Tell me, John, what do you attribute, apparently Stagg had mentioned earlier, that one of the caricature of the Beatles, less than priests. And the priests were saying, I object to their holier-than-thou attitude. Why is it that the American journalists are not treated in the same light?
I don't know. I think it's because when it came out in England, it was a bit of a blab mouth saying anyway, but they could sort of, they must have heard me before anyway, or they took it. A few people wrote into the papers, and a few wrote back saying, so what, he said that, who is he anyway? Or they said, so he can have his own opinion. And then it just vanished. It was very small. But by the time it got, you know, it just sort of, when it gets over here and then it's put into a kid's magazine, and just parts of it or whatever was put in, it just loses its meaning or its context immediately, and even more so, and it's miles away, and everybody starts making their own versions of it. You know, I think that's why, whatever you said.
John, are you familiar that in the American press, a great many ministers have agreed with you in the full context in which you said, and that most of the concern and oversimplification of what you said came from what we call the Bible Belt, which is not notorious for Christian attitude.
The thing is that they seem to think that by saying that, you know, John's getting at them, but he isn't at all. You know, it's just a straight comment on something which may be right and may be wrong. You know, but he's got to answer as he feels, honestly. You know, and if they think that for him to say that, you know, is wrong, then they don't believe in free speech. You know, and I thought everyone here did.
But the point is, by many thinking Americans, it was just that.
Yeah, that's it. Well, you know, if it's...
But they always write about the bad things much more than the good things anyway, so that's why it got to this scale.
It's only the superior Americans that are very verbal.
Great. Well, good luck to them, that's all I say.
I think that from what my views are, from what I've read or observed of Christianity and what it was and what it has been or what it could be, it just seems to me to be shrinking. I'm not knocking it or saying it's bad. I'm just saying it seems to be shrinking and losing contact.
And we all deplore the fact that it is, you know. That's
you know,
the main
nothing
point about
better
it all.
seems to be replacing it, so we're not saying anything about that.
You know, and if you say something that you think may vaguely in a way be helpful, you know, because I mean, you know, if it is on the decline in any way, then to say it's on the decline must be helpful.
It's silly going on saying, yes, it's all fine, and yeah, we're all Christians and we're all doing this, and we're all not doing it.
And you know, there'll probably
I just
be a
said
big
what I
resurgence
thought.
of Christianity now. I hope so. Might as well, yes.
Mr. Lennon, are you all Christians?
Well, we were brought up, I don't profess to be a practicing Christian, although I think Christ was what he was, and anybody who says anything great about him, I believe. But I'm not a practicing Christian like I was brought up to be. I don't have unchristian thoughts.
Was there as much repercussion and reaction to your statements in throughout Europe and other countries of the world as there was here in America?
No. I don't think Europe heard about it. They will now. But it was just England, and I sort of got away with it there, as much that nobody took offence and saw through me. And over here, it just, you know, what I said just went the other way.
Some of the wires this morning on UPI said that Pan American had provided each of you with a free Bible.
Yeah.
Well, we never saw that.
Never saw them.
No.
Mr. McCartney, could you tell us what the meaning of your line in your latest song concerning Father Mackenzie, who writes sermons that nobody hears?
Well, you see, that's the same thing. That's exactly the same thing, you know. That there do happen to be people connected with religion who do write, you know, I mean, it was a song about lonely people, that one. You're talking about Ellen Riggs as well.
And it's a generalization anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, but it was just a song about one lonely person who happens to be this priest who's darning his socks at night, you know, and he's lonely. That's all there was to it.
And Eleanor was pretty lonely,
And
Paul.
Eleanor's
You told
pretty
me
lonely.
Eleanor was.
But that's what that means, you know.
What about your further comment, also in that same series of interviews, that America is a lousy country where anyone who is black is called a nigger?
Well, you see, this is it. That if you say anything against, say, the way civil rights gets treated over here, then, you know, there's bound to be extremist people who'll think that we're wrong for saying that coloured people are the same as white people, you know. But I honestly believe that. And if anyone wants me to give the showbiz answer of, you know, oh, we're just good friends, I will. But I personally believe it's better to be honest about it.
Don't you have that same situation, however, existing?
Oh
in
yeah,
England,
it's existing everywhere, you know, but it's about time people
Did something about it.
Isn't it? I mean, everyone here knows it is. You know, it just needs to be said occasionally, that's all.
Yes. I think, John, that if Jesus were alive today in the physical form, not the metaphysical one, he would find Eleanor Rigby a very religious song, a song concerned with human experience
Yeah,
and
well,
human need. And
yeah.
I'm curious about your expression of that?
Well, I don't like sort of supposing that somebody like Jesus was alive now and pretending, imagining what he'd do. But I mean, if he was Jesus and he held that he was the real Jesus that had the same views as before, well, Eleanor Rigby wouldn't mean much to him. But if it did come across his mind, he'd think that probably.
But was it not written as an expression of the human spirit, the human
It was,
needs or something?
yeah, it was written because there are... Sorry. Go on. Yes, that's true. That's true. It was written because there are lonely people, and you know. It
We
was
have to
just
have
a
another
song
track
about-
to fill up the LP.
Anyway, what you said's right. Yeah. Covered it.
Yes, that's it. Do you think the Americans lack a sense of humor?
No,
No, I
they've got
don't
their own
think so. You
humour.
know, the thing is, you know, when we talk about all these things, you say the Americans, you know, but as you said, the Americans can't all be the same person and can't all think the same way. You know, so some Americans lack humour, some Britons lack humour. Everybody, you know, lacks it somewhere. But there are just more people in the States, so you can probably pick on the minority classes more. You know.
I read something recently that if you are
Never said it.
worrying about the Beatles being brought down, certain people are interested in getting the Beatles over with.
Oh, I don't know. I think that's a bit of a one that, you know, I don't really know about that story, honestly. There's nobody, I've never said, there's nobody trying
Sounds
to get,
like a
pull us
homemade one.
down. I'd agree that if we were slipping, there's lots of people that clap hands, Daddy, come home.
What
But-
kind of people do you think would be interested?
I don't know, because they never show themselves until that time arises when it's ripe for them.
Do you feel you are slipping?
We don't feel they're slipping. Our music's better. Our sales might be less. So, in our view, we're not slipping, you know.
How many years do you think you can go on? Have you thought about that?
It doesn't matter, you know. The thing
You know,
is,
we just try and go forward. And
the
it
thing is,
doesn't
if
matter
we
when
do
it's gone.
slip, it doesn't matter, you know. I mean, so what? You know, we slip, and so we're not popular anymore. So we'll be all sun popular, won't we?
That's all.
You know, we'll be like we were
can't
before,
control it,
maybe.
you know, and we can't invent a new gimmick to keep us going like people imagine we do.
Do you think this current controversy is hurting your career?
It's not helping it. No, I don't know about hurting it. It must be hurt. You can't tell if a thing's hurt a career or something, a space of time, until months after, really.
Well, you were also quoted as saying that you were not looking forward to the American tour, that the only part of the tour that you really wanted to get to was the California part of the tour.
Well, somebody probably said, which place do you
I
like
think I
best in
said
LA?
that,
And we,
because
in America. And we probably said, well, we enjoy LA most because we know a lot of people there. So that's how that comes to be. We only want to be in LA. You know, it just so happens we know a few people there, and we usually get a couple of days off. So we usually say LA.
What are you going to be doing there since I'm from Los Angeles Station?
We don't know, but
Well,
we usually
eat different food, you see, from hotel food. Not that there's anything wrong with hotel food, but you know, it's a break from hotels because we get a house.
Here we go.
Well, Southern City included in your tour this trip?
It's
Yeah.
Memphis is called, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll go in there, yeah.
Yes. What's your feeling about going down south where most of this controversy has arisen?
Well, I hope, you know, but if we sort of try and talk to the press and people and let, you know, I mean, you can judge for yourselves what it meant. I think better by seeing us.
I think if
You
you
know, and
believe
if
us now, what we're saying, and you know, we can get it straight.
It might
you know,
get through.
Then, because I mean, we're only trying to straighten it up, you know.
Because we could have just sort of hidden in England and said, we're not going, and faced it. You know, that occurred to me when I heard all about it. I couldn't remember saying it. I couldn't remember the article. I was panicking. I must know. I'm not going to. Oh, you know. But if they sort of straighten it out, it'll be worth it and good. Isn't that right, Ringo? Well done, John.
Do you ever get tired of one another's company?
We only see each other on tour all together at 4 at once usually.
Yes. To what do you ascribe your immense popularity?
I don't know.
You answer that one, don't you?
I Tony Barrow.
No, I don't really, you know. If you want an honest answer, none of us know at all.
This is your third trip to Chicago. Have you had a chance to see Chicago yet?
No, it looks nice out there.
We didn't. This is the first time we've actually stayed here, I think.
And, excuse me.
Yeah, it's okay. Carry on.
Do you hope to someday see some of these places that you've just flown into and out of?
Yeah, well, we can go to everywhere, really. I suppose everywhere we want to go. When the bubbles burst. So.
Do you want it?
It's a wee.
No idea.
Never met him.
He seems all right. He's doing all right, you know.
Oh yes, he's doing well.
He swings all right, you know, apart from his singing, anyway.
Yes. John, your music has changed immensely, of course, since you first started out. Is this because you've become more professional, or is it that you're trying to show the public?
It's not trying or being professional. It's just not, you know, a progression.
Trying to satisfy ourselves in a way. But, you know, that's why we try and do things better, because we never get satisfied.
It's only that, you know, it's not sitting down and thinking, next week we'll do so-and-so and we'll record like that. It just sort of happens. No. There was just no film for the Beatles to do, and 8 weeks going, and I was offered it, so I thought, right, a bit of practice for the Beatles film. When I get back from America, I say, when?
I'll tell you, we've really been putting our feet in it lately. You can't say anything, you know, without it turning into the worst quote ever.
I mean, somebody just in passing saying it to a friend, you see. That's what we forget we're Beatles sometimes. You can't help it. We're still us inside. And if you say something like that, I didn't say it was one other. But when you say something like, Britain's becoming a police state, you say it exactly the same as anybody in a pub saying it to their friend across the bar. About some sweeping statement, which they can't back up anyway.
And it's obvious it's not to be taken literally, because if it was, then you wouldn't be allowed to say that, would you?
That's true.
Can we make this the last question?
Yeah, very short, for Ringo.
Oh, no.
Clarification. 2 weeks ago, we had a world teenage show here in Chicago.
And you won.
There was a set of drums there on the floor, cordoned off, that said, these are the drums that Ringo Starr will play when he's in Chicago. Now, today at the airport, I saw some girls screaming when they saw an instrument case apparently containing your drums being loaded into a truck. Which drums are yours? Where are they?
Well, I hope they're both mine. I don't know. Malcolm will tell you about that, you know. He just puts them in front of me. I just play them. He's the one. Have we got 2 kids?
One more.
No, don't tell them.
Marital status. Has been any change that you could tell us about?
No, it's still
Wife's
3
put on
down,
a bit of
1 to
weight, you know.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, thank you.